I seem to be able to put my feelings down in a song easier than I can talk about it. I play me better than anybody.
They spent years calling him the monk of country music, the calm drifter who moved through the world like he carried peace in his pocket. But that old legend doesn't hold up anymore, not after everything he's finally ready to drop. At 92, Willie Nelson isn't hiding behind harmony, forgiveness, or that easygoing smile people swore he lived by. For the first time ever, he's speaking on the 7 artists who left marks so deep they outlasted whole eras of country history. Scars that never faded even when the spotlight did. And before we go any further, listen up. If you want more uncensored, behind-the-curtain stories from country legends, make sure you subscribe right now so you don't miss what's about to hit. Because the moment these names come out, you'll understand exactly why Willie stopped giving second chances and let the mercy go flying. Garth Brooks, the polished powerhouse Willie never trusted. The world swore Garth rebuilt country music from the ground up, but to Willie, he twisted it into something he barely recognized anymore. When the 90s hit with flashing lights, flying rigs, and full-blown arena drama, Willie watched the dusty, gritty sound he helped create get swapped out for big-budget fireworks. Garth was floating across stadiums on wires while Willie was still tuning trigger under fairground lights, smelling hay and barbecue smoke. Fans called it evolution. Willie felt like he was watching a tradition get pushed into a shiny costume it never asked for. The coldest moment came in 2004 at the Country Music Hall of Fame, and everyone in Nashville still talks about it. Garth stood on stage praising Willie, all warm grin and smooth charm. But backstage, Willie stepped up to him eye to eye and said quietly, "Next time, sing it like it matters." That whisper tore through Nashville faster than a late night rumor. From that night on, Willie turned down every shared bill, every duet offer, every reunion idea people tried to force into existence. It wasn't Garth's fame that bothered him, not at all. What cut Willie deep was the idea that the industry thought spectacle could replace truth, that smoke machines could replace soul, and that country music could survive without the raw heart that built it in the first place. Shania Twain, the pop queen who shook Willie's whole belief in what country music was supposed to stand for. Nobody ever pictured Willie Nelson and Shania landing on opposite sides of anything, but the second she flipped country into full-scale stadium pop, sparkle, tight choreography, lights blasting like a Vegas show, Willie felt the ground tilt under him. He told a sound engineer straight up, "Country's supposed to bleed, not glitter." And that line echoed through every backstage hallway like a warning shot. The real breaking point hit at the CMA Awards. Shania walked away with Entertainer of the Year, the whole room exploding with cheers, while Willie sat just a few rows back, hands clapping, eyes colder than neon ice. Backstage, when she stepped toward him to say hello, he gave a polite nod and kept walking like she wasn't even there, and the crew felt the temperature drop instantly. To the rest of the world, Shania was the bright new future, fresh, polished, unstoppable. But to Willie, she marked the moment the genre lost its backbone, trading bruises and truth for sparkle and shine. Waylon Jennings, the brother in arms whose jealousy cracked their bond wide open. This was the wound Willie never managed to close, no matter how many miles he drove or songs he wrote. These two didn't just make outlaw country, they lived it. Motels, long haul buses, wild nights, rough mornings, and tracks that still shake the walls today. But fame doesn't care about brotherhood, and it sure doesn't protect it. By the late 70s, Waylon was tired of seeing headlines put Willie first every single time. It was always Willie and Waylon, never the other way around. And it aided him until it showed. He started showing up late, pushing harder, drinking heavier, and fighting over credits that used to be shared with a handshake. One night in the studio, Waylon snapped and said, "You're too stoned to play straight." And even though Willie said nothing back, that line cut deep and stayed deep. Then came the moment that ended everything. Waylon went public and joked that Willie had turned into a hippie who forgot where he came from, and the whole world heard it. Willie didn't argue, didn't clap back, didn't demand an apology. He just stepped away quietly, and that silence said more than any fight ever could. He didn't even go to Waylon's funeral. He only sent flowers with a note that read, "See you on the road somewhere." A goodbye wrapped in pain, carried like poetry. Toby Keith, the flag-waving powerhouse, Willie felt completely betrayed the whole spirit of what music is supposed to do. Their divide wasn't about style or charts, it was deeper than that, almost spiritual. Willie always believed music should stitch people together, calm storms, bring folks into the same room without a fight. But Toby carried his songs like a raised fist, loud, sharp, ready to spark tension instead of easing it. When Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue blew up, the line between them formed without either of them saying a word. And it only got worse at a veterans event in Austin. Willie went up and delivered a soft unity ballad, something meant to soothe the whole crowd. Toby hit the stage right after, flags waving, slogans firing, the whole thing shifting into a rally instead of a tribute. Willie watched from the wings, and the disappointment on his face said everything. After the show, he told Toby straight, "You're using music to fight, not to heal." And Toby just laughed like it bounced right off him. Willie didn't argue. He simply walked away. From that moment on, Willie refused any festival, any charity event, any tour lineup that had Toby's name attached. And one day, speaking quietly to his crew, he said, "I've heard louder men, but not many emptier ones." A cold truth dropped like a brick. Merle Haggard, the friend who cracked the bond with one joke that hit way too hard. Willie and Merle were brothers in every way that truly mattered, riding the same highways, sharing stages, sharing stories. But one night, Merle pushed a line he shouldn't have crossed. Live on stage with Willie just a few steps away, Merle dropped the line, "Weed's a lazy man's crutch," and the crowd erupted like it was the funniest thing they'd heard all week. Willie didn't laugh. He just stared down at the floor and kept strumming like the sound didn't even reach him. Backstage, he didn't say a single word, just walked straight onto his bus and closed the door, and that silence hit harder than any comeback. The duo album they'd been planning faded instantly. Calls stopped, plans disappeared. When Merle tried to apologize later, Willie kept it simple and said, "Some things you don't joke about," and that was the closest thing to closure he ever offered. When Merle passed, Willie honored him with respect, but he never called him one of his best friends, not once. And that quiet gap in the tribute told the whole real story without needing a single extra word. Kristofferson, one sentence that slammed the door on 40 years of brotherhood. Willie and Chris were a legendary pair, the kind of duo folks talked about like folklore, artists, rebels, poets who carved their own lane and never asked permission. But even the strongest bond can snap in a single careless moment, and that moment came out of nowhere. At a private fundraiser right after Willie finished a soft, sharp protest ballad, Chris, half buzzed and surrounded by a circle of songwriters, dropped the line, "Willie's more of a mascot now than a musician." He didn't whisper it, he didn't hide it, and Willie heard every word like it was aimed straight at his chest. Willie didn't argue or fire back. He just stepped outside without saying a thing, and that silence carried more weight than a whole speech. By the next morning, their upcoming duet was canceled. Calls went unanswered. The future they planned together just vanished in the dust. And when someone asked Willie years later what happened, he kept it short. Some words don't fade, they stain. A 4-decade friendship erased by one sentence that never should have left Chris's mouth. Kid Rock, the collab Willie straight up walked out on in the middle of the session. What was supposed to be harmless chaos, just a wild crossover moment between two totally different generations, turned into one of the roughest studio exits of Willie's entire career. Kid Rock rolled in late, blasting his own tracks like the whole room was his personal stage, tossing out orders and cranking the mix so loud Willie's vocals were buried under distortion. When Willie gently suggested switching to a softer arrangement, Kid Rock fired back with a loud laugh and said, "Come on, old man, loosen up." That was it. Willie took off his headphones, stood up slow, and walked right out the door without raising his voice or explaining a thing. The silence hit harder than any argument ever could. The track never saw daylight. The session died right there on the spot. And Willie, he never returned a single call after that, leaving the whole failed collab sitting in the past like it never even happened. So what do you think? Was Willie right to cut these folks out of his world and keep moving, no looking back? Or was the outlaw of country music carrying wounds that got too heavy to heal, even for a soul as seasoned as his? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear every angle. And if you're ready for more raw, unreleased stories from the legends who shaped American music from the dirt up, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss what drops next.